that I would expect to be running Sageless of the two of them. So this comes as quite a shock, honestly. If I was to look back over statistics, this is definitely not who I would expect. If anything, I would say the team names were reversed. So this is super exciting, and I want to see how IMT plays around this Sage.
Look at this aggression already from Gen.G. They're just getting that A short control. It's already so much information for them, a lot of real estate. Whereas IMT, they're going to be pushing up towards B, having just Asuna playing inside of Hookah. Going to be able to clear things off as he is the Raze player. They are grouped up, that 4-1 split. MkaeL able to spot it with the camera in a really good position, so they might not be able to find this right away, but the execute's coming in. Now they might get pushed back, and IMT able to swarm the site. Spike just about to get planted. And now this is going to be another 5-on-5 retake that we've seen.
Yeah, and so this is one of those two executes that's super generic that I mentioned in the pre-round. We saw the 3-2 split with 3 going long, 2 going hookah, a front tube plant. And it looks like Gen.G really already had their number and played this extremely interestingly, where they had 2 people on a deep flank, and they've already got site control back.
Yeah, they're already in the site control. Jcstani able to take down one through the smoke, but that's going to be another round for Gen.G. They're able to get that defuse up the spike, and that was I was a little surprised because I mean it looked a little bit scary for Gen.G. They weren't able to have that site control. IMT looked really good with the aggression, but again, that post plant of the spike situation, it just looked too weak. As Gen.G, again, they just maintain that hot train they've been on.
Yeah, I think really, in terms of defense, one of the things that we didn't see a lot out of some higher profile teams yesterday is that really deep, aggressive rotation out of defenders where they look for flanks. And those are incredibly strong here. In the case of these B plants, we saw 2 players from Gen.G's side coming through market, going towards long, and getting a really deep flank. And on the reverse side, when we see these A plants come through, as I'm sure we will eventually, where they're planting at truck, you want to see the defensive B default players playing through market and playing a flank angle as opposed to just playing sort of a generic retake.
Absolutely. But we see there is going to be 3 players from Gen.G playing inside that B site, leaving it only down to the 2. So IMT putting their attention now onto the A site. They're going to be switching it up. They don't want to go for B after they lost that round. Brimstone smokes are going to be landing in between both sides of the default box. But is MkaeL able to pick up one, able to pick up a second, trying to look for another, and he gets it through the smoke. The guy's getting away with murder. Already on the 3K, might be able to get the 4th, gets it, and that's going to be player 1 to shut things down. And Gen.G, they take all 5 down, and they don't even lose a player.
The team coordination and supportive interplay there was absolutely beautiful out of Gen.G. Quinn on the Sova and MkaeL on the Cypher playing off of each other, playing borderline unbeatable site defense there, giving MkaeL the wall hack, smoke hack, whatever you want to call it, to pick up 3 kills and then a quick flick for a 4th to shut out the round. Absolutely brutal for IMT.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he really nailed it to the head there, is that the Sova was able to get the recon bolt out right away, so that pretty much made it really easy for MkaeL just to pick up those frags so easily through the smoke. And now things are going to get switched off lane, trying to make something happen inside of Hookah, but going to be taking just only a little bit of damage. That's going to be Jcstani and now Koler. They finally pick up 2 more, so only leaving it to 3 members of Gen.G. So something we haven't seen quite yet. Huynh trying to get this to land, able to get that shot. Takes him down. Now it's just going to be a 1-man army so far, as GMD going to be on the big rotate. Will he on the corner? Asuna tries to get the blast backs. That's not going to matter, as now it's only down to the Brimstone. 1 player left. It's player 1. Bulldog in hand versus 4 players of IMT. But the HP, look how low it is, Anderzz.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a win on the board for Immortals. It was Gen.G's bonus round, though, so nothing too egregious. We should see a full buy from both here coming out.
This is one of the things that we see from IMT. You know, they're able to pick up that round. Like you said, Gen.G, they were able to pick up the money, get it quite high. So now we can see they are putting full investment into this, having Huynh with the operator once again. There's definitely a menace in map number 1 with it. So able to probably transition that into this second map. But are we going to be expecting anything different from IMT? Is there kind of a a default strat that they'd like to do, or something that we're just not used to seeing?
I think that the fact that they're leaning pretty heavily onto B executes is quite a surprise. I would be remiss to say that the norm isn't A pushes. I think in this tournament, if I were to ballpark it statistically, at a bare minimum, 60% of plants on bind have gone towards A. So IMT's already throwing a bit of a curveball by going B time after time again, but this time it doesn't look like it's going to work out super well for them, as the spike goes down before they can even take ground on site.
This duel between Astana and also Huynh, they're both able to take each other down to almost half HP.
Smoke's down.
But on IMT, they do have the Sage, but the Sage player is going to be down. So no heals will be able to happen for the Rays. Genghsta just going to be posted up inside of Washroom in the back of it. So it looks like IMT switching up their game plan once again, trying to go for that A take. See if they can redeem themselves from that last round where MkaeL was able to shut it down on his own pretty much. Going to be pushing through, and GMG throws the blast back, able to get safe from MkaeL once again. Actually going to get taken down, but the trades are looking so good so far, but Genghsta takes down another, leaving it to the 3-on-2. Spike going to be retrieved. They're going to go through the teleporter, able to get that fast rotate, but the Phoenix, that's Effys, he might be able to catch them off guard. He actually tries to do the run drive-by, going to get taken down, the run it back, not able to work. Genghsta gets inside the site, Koler just beside. Going to be able to throw the molly to slow it down a little bit in the side of B Hall, the connector doorway. This is going to be the flank from player one. He actually gets taken down. I think he's almost down to 1 HP.
This is going to be a really tough hold. I don't imagine Genghsta can do it, but just as I say that, he picks up one. Oh goodness, is he going to do it?
Oh,
he does it with the 4!
That's absolutely madness. Genghsta, the quad kill. What a menace. I don't even know what his HP was there. I think it was quite low. I think he got tagged. I think he was below 20, wasn't he?
He definitely didn't come out of it unscathed, that's for certain. Holy. Just goes to show that there's a lot of versatility on the side of Immortals. Genghsta now picking up the Cypher and putting it to work. What an absolutely nutty post-plant defense he put on there.
Putting the round into his own hands. They mitigate the damage. It's 2-2 now. So IMT, they are in the hot seat as they do have the stronger weapons across their side. Gen.G on the Sheriffs. So again, we see GMD trying to get that information. Genghsta, he might be able to find the timing of this correctly. Gets the back of the head of GMD. That's an easy frag for him.
Give me a corpse.
Gen.G going to be falling back and actually going for a full rotate into the B site. So they're actually giving up that A control.
I know
they're going to gamble this
exactly
completely. Oh, the Cypher ultimate. Going to be able to reveal the position from all the players. It's going to be Effys with the stage wall, trying to blast it through if they can get in fast enough, but they will not be able to. Spike's going to get planted. He actually is getting tagged. I think that's player one that's able to get that spam damage with the Sheriff through the wall. Those are the one of the best kills that you can get so far.
Use of utility this whole match has been absolutely phenomenal. And it looks like we're going to get another on the board here for IMT. Definitely catching fire a bit in this early few rounds, similar to what they had last map. We'll have to see if they can hold it a little bit better than they did on Ascent, however.
One of the things to note as well is Gen.G, they have the 3 ultimates. So you have the Cypher ult, the Sova, the Brimstone. So that is a lot for them to work with. I mean, they could try to get that information if they take down one of the members of IMT. The Brimstone's ult, obviously really, really good for a lot of landscape that they can take over and really just push back the attackers. My apologies. We'll have to wait and see what they're going to go with, having only the Sage on the IMT side with their ult ready.
I love this early rotation out of Huynh on the Sova. We've seen that IMT has shown an evidenced favor for B side thus far, and this is exactly what I was going to say. I want to see him rotate early over to B, where we've seen IMT time and time again, and fish with that ultimate for information and damage.
IMT once again leaving 3 players, going to be pushing all the way back. Asuna trying to get a little bit of distraction inside of Hookah. But it will be Genghsta just inside of washrooms. Not making any noise, not trying to make any sort of attention towards him yet. Is IMT going to be slowly creeping their way back, getting ready for an A take. Going to try to go against MkaeL once again.
There.
But it actually is only a one-player setup at A for the defensive side, so this could be the right call from IMT. Asuna going to be pushing his way through, trying to clear out elbow. Now it just needs to stay alive as long as possible. So MkaeL going to be caught inside of the cyber cage, and Koler picking up another. We were just talking about how he was a menace before, pulling up a double, leaving it only down to 2 here for Gen.G, and at this point, they might just need to get out of here.
That was a really well done execute out of the side of Immortals. A little bit of a finesse and adaptation on the standard default execute that we see on A. Instead of doing the vertical wall blocking across from truck towards showers and splitting the site into more of a quadrant, instead they opted for a half site split walling between truck and Tetris, and that allowed Koler as well as Genghsta on the Cypher to push into backside, get a line onto the connector towards defender spawn, and pick off too early. A really cool adaptation that very clearly caught Gen.G off guard.
Definitely would agree with you there, Anderzz.
Gun here.
See the operator going to be dropped here from player 1. Going to be giving that to Huynh. So it's really the only weapon that they're going to work around. So this is the opportunity for Huynh to kind of go for that big play if he wants to. He is playing Sova, whereas before we saw he was the Jet on map number 1. We haven't seen a lot of the players from Gen.G really pop off yet that we saw first map. But again, this is looking a lot more close because before we saw IMT, they had that big lead. But now maintaining that lead a little bit longer as it is 4-2. It's still in IMT's favor. It's going to be Gen.G to push through, getting a lot more information through the bathrooms, MkaeL and also his teammate. But it actually will be a B hit from IMT, and they're going to get up close and personal, but Koler takes down Huynh. Now the defense is going to have to fall back, post up in sight, and that's actually an overpeak, and Koler takes down player 1, punishes him for that play. But now it's going to be Jcstani to take him down, and it is a 3-on-2, but not a lot for both these players to work with.
Yeah, Gen.G on a bit of a broken bye here. I don't think they would have expected a particularly favorable result, and they might just be looking for a little bit more economic damage here. I imagine they'll look for a pick or two, but I don't think that they're likely going to be expecting to win this one.
Really, at this kind of a point, like if you can get any sort of a weapon down, that is kind of the benefit that you can do. It just damages the economy from IMT. I mean, like we've seen, they've been pulling away through the rounds. I think they're on 4 in a row now, Anderzz, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we saw the pistol go over to the side of Gen.G. They won the second round, lost their bonus, and haven't been able to re-find stable ground since, with IMT really coming back, mirroring last game, 5 in a row.
The question will be if IMT can pull this through. We see that they're on 5 rounds in a row. So we've seen this before. They get that big lead, but can they maintain that lead? That's kind of where the experience does play into the factor. But Gen.G, now they have full weapons across once again. Huynh able to have that operator, as well as Dicey on the other side as well. But look at the money for IMT. It's pretty much they can do whatever they want at this point. They're laughing.
This is a nice spot. Yes.
Yeah, IMT laughing all the way to the bank here. Economic stability for at least 2 rounds, even if they falter.
Come on, let's go.
We're seeing the same play from IMT as we're typically we see the Rays trying to get that hookah control, which is Asuna. But Effys actually using the run it back, so going to push that up. Gets that first break. Huynh able to reply back and save his teammate. The res going to be coming through from Jcstani, leading it onto a 4-on-5 situation. And Gen.G, like I said before, they're kind of mixing up their plays, and this is something that I did enjoy that they did on map number 1. Genghsta throwing down the cage to potentially go for the execute, but IMT shifting off of B now, making the wards toward A.
Yeah, I'm loving the willingness of IMT to make broader rotations. One of the things I criticized them for on Ascent was that if you saw them committed to one side of the map, they were going to recommit to that side of the map. Here we're seeing a lot more swinginess. If they get information handed over to Gen.G, they're willing to swap sides, they're willing to change their game plan, and that adaptability is obviously doing them a lot of favors.
Prepare for hellfire.
He's coming in. GMD trying to land. The showstopper not able to make the connections, but now the frags are coming through. Gen.G is getting the better of this so far. IMT just down to 2 players. Only 14 seconds left. Like going to get dropped, and that's going to be the round for Gen.G. They finally reply back.
That was so heartbreaking. We see the Sage of IMT picking up Spike, going for a rapid rotation, dropping through teleport, pops open the doors right into the waiting arms of player 1 and gets shut down. Round immediately ends. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking indeed. Nothing worse than when you get the Spike lost in that position. That's not what you want to see.
That goes there.
But not a lot for IMT to really worry about. I mean, they do lose the round, but they do have plenty of money in the bank that they can put the full board of weapons on the game once again. Going for that beat hit once more. Going to be doing the split now where they're going to go for a 2-2-1, having just their Cypher playing in the back of A, just waiting to see if there is any aggression from Gen.G on the A side of things.
Yeah, this is a great play. I talked early on about how once we see an offensive team commit to a site, one of the better ways to counter it is that deep market rotation. And right here we have Genghsta on the Cypher covering against that type of rotation. If IMT can find their ground, what it looks like Koler will with 3 kills. Now they get to push on the site, and Genghsta will have pre-lined up coverage of any sort of market flank, and he might be rewarded here. As the Brimstone from Gen.G looks like they will have to rotate that route if they do decide to, and Genghsta will be waiting.
Oh, the timing of both these players. They were looking there, but they actually just miss each other. Player 1 able to survive a little bit longer. But again, this is a good round from IMT. This is different than what we saw in map number 1. Looking a little bit more confident with their executes into the sites. Able to land those shots, the much needed rounds, but player 1, the element of surprise, catches Genghsta off guard. Does take down 1 weapon for IMT, but that's going to be another round for them. That's going to be 6-3.
Heal out of charges.
Gen.G finding a bit of success on the way out there. Quite a bit of success, actually, as we see GMD picking up 2 with Koler also getting caught out.
I'm a little bit surprised they actually went for the full hunt like that. I mean, yeah, you can do it. It's not the worst thing in the world, but there gets to be a point where if you're starting to lose players, you might want to fall back on that plan.
Yeah, I mean, in IMT's case, they obviously have money to spare. They can afford to lose their guns, but it almost becomes a question of why are you giving money towards the side of Gen.G? I'd be more concerned about my opponent's economy than my own at this point.
Absolutely. And we do see another operator on the board for Gen.G. Once again, haven't really been able to see Huynh do a lot of damage so far with it in this map number 2, whereas we did see on map 1. Going back to the 3-2 setup, but again, look at this information on the minimap. We can see the Brimstone all the way pushed up. They're getting that information. GMD, Genghsta, they're just flying the frags across now, only moving it down to the raise. And now the B site again, it's open up, and IMT, they're just winning these frags. They're just winning the duels. And MkaeL, he's going to get pushed back, tries to spray through, and Jcstani takes him down. It is Huynh just trying to see what he can find. See if he can get the lurk of Genghsta, takes him down. A little burst fire action. A 1-on-3. Surely he's not going to go for that. Does pick up the 1, though. Again, going for the hunt, so they are trying to pinch him. Position is revealed.
There can't be a universe where he wins this.
Just can't be.
Oh no. Oh no.
You can't be doing this, Dicey. Your position's located. Oh my goodness, Huynh!
Oh no!
He comes up big. He picks up the quad. What are you doing, IMT? I think he has plenty of time to get this too.
He even has time for the DQ. Holy moly, Huynh, you absolute animal.
Oh my goodness. Huynh, I honestly feel like the caster's curse is a real thing. I make, a little comment about him not really lighting it up with the operator. What does he do? He wins a 1v4. He just pulls it through. He's like, hey, I'll do it. That's fine.
Huynh showing up huge for his team when they need it, honestly. Clawing back a little bit in this first half. What a play.
But, I mean, definitely hats off to Huynh for pulling that through. But, if I'm going to be, a little bit analytical here, like, I'm really disappointed with IMT. They just went for the sandwich pinch, and they really played that very poorly. They really peaked out of the worst timing, allowing that to happen. But Asuna does take down player one. Able to retaliate a little bit more, seeing if they connect another one, and that's BMD trying to make something happen, and that's going to be 2 players falling down. So now they slowly reply back. Huynh trying to get the Hunter's Fury, not able to land it. Oh my goodness! And what is going on? Huynh takes down Asuna as he does the blast back boost with the showstopper, not able to make it happen, and he does get finally taken down. And that B site finally up for grabs, only leaving it down to MkaeL. The 1-on-4, and surely he cannot pull this through.
You can only expect so many miracles in one map, and I think Gen.G is running short at this point.
This is good patience though from MkaeL. I mean, the Sage Wall is just actually blocking him, so he's not really able to take the opportunity to go and get some control. But now that the wall has been depleted, he might be able to catch them off guard, but Jcstani takes him down, and IMT finally replies back 7-4, and we're going into that last round of the first half.
Some great discipline there shown out of Immortals after seeing it bite them in the round prior. As you mentioned, it was a little bit questionable at the end of the day. Obviously, credit to Huynh for that insane clutch, but it was off, at least in large part, driven off of the fact that Immortals almost half committed to their hunt. They pushed out of sight halfway, then held a bunch of static angles, and then didn't push aggressively into market. There, you see the opposite, where they were far more passive, far more tight towards the site, and it nets them the round instead.
I do like this play. Able to get the Phoenix to use the run it back. Gets that first frag. Able to take down one. Burning the res for the Sage so early on. It's good usage of, or allowing their teammate, or their foes to use their ultimates and everything so early on in the game. In the last round, Genghsta going to be pushing up. Jcstani already pushed up into long, just inside a garden. He might be able to pop out at the right time. Koler going to be going for the smokes. Going to be blocking the vision here for the defensive side. Sage Wall going to be coming and blocking an elbow once more. Jcstani catches Huynh off guard, shuts down the monster of Gen.G, but they're actually getting to be able to reply back now, and the spike is in possession for the Sova, but that's going to be Effys picking down one, and they reply back 5-7.
A 5-7 half, much better than what we saw in map 1. We've got a real game on our hands here.
What a game. I mean, just talking about that first half, I mean, I'm really impressed with IMT. They really were able to bounce back. It was not looking good for them so early on, but then they really just started to maintain that control. A bit of a few interesting plays or comments and things like that, but either way, I do agree with you. I think 5-7 is definitely a respectful half.
Yeah, I think a storyline that we really want to keep track of here, though, is that now we see Gen.G on attack, running a Sageless composition. Two of the most critical sort of default executes aren't available in their playbook, or at least they're going to have to rely heavily on completely different utility. I'm eager to see how they adapt around that and what we see in terms of site pushes.
But again, IMT now, they're going to actually push back. They get connected with the Raise Nade. Be able to get that hookah control. MkaeL finding one. Location will be revealed. Dicey does reply back with 2, make it 3, putting the ghost to work, and that's the start you need if you're on the defensive side. Jcstani tries to make something happen, but now actually a bit of exchange coming here from the attacking side, leaving it only down to 1 player left. Does have the spike, able to get into that A site, I think, just in time. And what better person than to have his Huynh? He actually decides to grab the orb.
An interesting choice there to go for the orb instead of the rapid plant. You have to think, I'm stuck in a 1v2 here. Is it almost better for me to just rush site, get the plant money, and accept the fact that I'm dead? I'm only giving up a ghost. Instead, goes for the alt orb and instead trying to play a little bit of a frisky head fake mind game.
I really do like this play, and I definitely agree with you. I think Huynh, he could have easily gone for the plan and just accepted the bait, but instead he wants to bait the time. He wants them to be on the guessing game, but now both players are going to be able to push their way through. They're just inside the connector of spawn, or the A site, my apologies, and now they're going to be pushing through. So Huynh does only have the classic, does have armor, might be able to catch this off guard, but going to be destroying the tripwire. Genghsta just going through the fake defuse, but that's going to be the trade frags immediately. A very valiant effort from Huynh. That's going to be another round from IMT.
Great coordination out of IMT there to make sure that they were tradable the way they were repushing that site. And it will net them their 8th round.
Is there anything, typical that, Anders, that you see, like, on the save rounds? Like, is there anything classic that you should do? Like, is it better just to get the spike plant? Or is it better to just try to burn the weapons? Like, what do you typically see, or what do you think is the best play here for Gen.G?
I think that for Gen.G, buying into the rifles here, getting set up for that so-called bonus round in the 3rd is almost always going to be your best bet. On a map like this, I'm actually surprised that we don't see Marshals out of them. Marshal obviously being incredibly powerful, one-shot kills against a saving opposite team, assuming they don't buy light armor. And on a map like Bind, where you have very long angles that are easy to cover from heaven, from defender spawn on B, that Marshal can be absolutely back-breaking for an offense. Nonetheless, though, it looks like they might get punished here.
Jcstani goes for the wide swing, able to pick up one, but going to get taken down. GMD, that is a 4K for him. This is already looking good. Dicey, a 1-on-4 situation, only having the Ghost. Location is going to get spawned from the Sova. Recon Bolt going to be dropping from heaven. So now all they have to do is play the crossfires, but MkaeL takes him down. And that's a really, really impressive round from the attacking side.
Yeah, you never want to see that if you're IMT. Getting your sort of force bot 2nd round completely busted open. They're going to be forced to save here now, and the scales will have shifted where now Gen.G is going to get their free round and look at a bonus round directly hereafter.
Yeah, they pretty much just shattered the economy for IMT, and that's something I was not expecting. And I mean, you can see sometimes those second rounds really go a long way, but Gen.G, they able to pull it through, making it more interesting again. 6-8, IMT again, still having that 2-round lead, but for how long? We've seen Gen.G late game, they really start to turn things up. Koler able to get the orb, pushes through the smoke, but a lot of interesting play coming in from the defense as they're able to actually push through Buka. Player 1 getting a little bit caught off guard with the positioning. No harm, no foul. Able to pick up one, but Koler takes him down, so that's a good trade. The spike will be planted at A site, only leaving it down to 3 members left.
Yeah, we see the defense getting punished a bit here for their forward positioning. Now they're going to be in a 4v3 retake.
4-on-3 retake. Asuna going to be on top of the A tower. Doesn't have a lot to work with. Effys just going to be posted up with the Bulldog. MkaeL does take down Dicey. So there's not enough HP for the Raze player of the defense, so might be able to just fall back. But actually, let's try to contest this, but Asuna not able to make it happen. And that's Gen.G already pulling another round through. And I believe this round we should see weapons for the defense side, because that was a save round for them.
Loving the play out of Gen.G so far on this offense. I'd love to see a fast A push here so that they can make use of the Hunter's Fury that just came up for Huynh. A really good line of play here is to make that sort of generic truck plant and then have the Sova peel back towards shower side market and then play Hunter's Fury as post-plant insurance. We'll see if they opt for that or if they're looking to play a more spread default here.
See the Raze ultimate coming through. GMD actually connects the showstopper, takes down Dicey. But Genghsta able to reply back, takes down GMD. But now the trades are completely coming through. And Gen.G, they're just winning these duels so convincingly. You can see both teammates are looking at each other like, hey man, we gotta go. This is not even worth our time. Save the weapons, put it into the next round. And that's a huge round from Gen.G. I really like that execution.
Cage triggered.
Yeah, really well played out of Gen.G here. Should put the match at a tie game. And IMT faltering a little bit here.
Kind of makes you wonder how IMT is feeling. I mean, again, they have that lead. We've been talking about it before, but now things are tied up. Their backs are starting to get against the wall. Gen.G, they're on the climb back up. They're on the full hunt. Now they're going to be looking for Jcstani and also Asuna, and they're going to just be posted up into elbow. Should be fine to stay alive. Not enough time for Gen.G to find them. Just able to survive with those weapons. Another round.
Yeah, and we'll be going into a bit of an awkward round here for IMT. Forced into rifle light armor on some players, if not broken buys, where Gen.G is finally finding some strong economic ground to stand
I
on.
need my thanks.
Do you think it's surprising, Anders, that we're not really seeing like an operator for Gen.G at all right now?
Not super surprising. Where they're on offense side, the operator's going to provide them a lot less value than it may otherwise on the opposite side of the map or on other maps, and their composition doesn't lend itself particularly well to it either. You would have to see the operator most likely on either Raze, Sova, or Phoenix, and none of them are particularly well suited to that on offense. You'd much rather be using Raze utility to clear corners as opposed to get mobility to enable op plays. And so I think this makes a lot of sense given their composition and the way that they've been approaching this map thus far.
We'll see the defensive Brimstone Smoke come through. That will be the Cyber Cage to also block that off also. Koler just on the side of Lamps. Does throw the Molotov just in front of that as well in case they decide to go and be a smoke criminal.
Koler sitting here with his ultimate, though, ready to deny any sort of attempt at a plant. We'll see if he commits the resource to it.
He tries to go for one, but going to get traded out. Jcstani replies back, leaving it to the 2-on-2 now, but the spike not planted yet. So they are able to just get this in the back of the default box.
I know exactly.
Pulled down to Jcstani, not able to connect it. And now Gen.G, they finally pulled the lead only by one. But again, they look so solid with their executes.
Yeah, absolutely critical that they picked off Koler, denying that orbital strike and giving them a solid opportunity to get the spike down. Gen.G has really come alive on this second half.
I really did. I'm so glad you pointed that out before, because I thought Koler was going to be able to have that, fine opportunity to use the orbital strike, but did actually get pushed back, not really able to make it work. Is able to still use it anytime he wants now, as he still has it ready to go. There is only 2 ultimates on the defensive side, but Effys already starting things hot, taking down Asuna already. But again, look at this hookah control. Jcstani does take a lot of damage from the nade of the Raze player, leaving it all down to 64 HP. Tries to make it work and gets the one sheriff shot, and that's the way you want to start things off. GMD picking up the double, cleans up hookah. It's completely up for grabs now, and that's going to be the rotate. GMD again. Fruitful pickings for him, as he's now had a triple kill this round so far.
Yeah, GMD popping off a bit here.
There.
Definitely contributing in supreme fashion to the momentum that Gen.G's found on their offensive side. And you can't imagine that Koler has much of a chance here. Of course, as I say that, I've inverse caster cursed IMT.
Oh, no. Caster curse is real. Now all of a sudden Koler making this interesting. Now down just to the one-on-one. The Brimstone Smoke going to come through. They're able to get Huynh the location of the spike. Going to be showing the shock dart. Oh my goodness! That is perfect placement. Huynh, he makes it look so easy. Runs away with it. Oh my. Huynh, you absolute monster.
That is a phenomenal set shock error out of Huynh to deny the defuse there. One of those little nuanced plays that doesn't come out every round, doesn't even come out every match sometimes, but it does them exactly what they need it to and puts them at 10-8.
And that's kind of the thing, you have that smoke in front of you. You get the panic a little bit too, because you're like, I can't see a thing. Do I push through this? Do I not? But Huynh, that lineup was absolutely critical. The fact that he was able just to throw the shock bolt like that, it literally landed right in front of Huynh. The interesting use here is Effys does take down Asuna, but Jcstani throwing the Sage Wall into Hookah, so they're not actually able to get a lot of control of it yet, but it is going to be broken. We'll just beat him. But now the counter orbital strike going to be coming through. It will be the res back onto Asuna, but oh no, the showstopper, it's going to land and actually takes down Jcstani. And now Gen.G, they get that Hookah control once again, but the rotate is completely here. But Gen.G, they're actually going to fall back. They're going to go towards A. The Sniper has full control, and he's actually pushing all the way through the connector piece now.
A painful moment there, as we saw Asuna getting denied directly after popping the showstopper, not even getting to fire it off. Of course, as 3 players push into the Hookah connector, an opportunity for a massive kill to reverse the round, completely shut out by the side of Gen.G, and now they've rotated with complete A control, and this is going to be rough, if not impossible, for Immortals.
Gen.G have just had heaps of success going through Hookah, just really throwing IMT off their game. They always think it's going to be a fast B hit. Then all of a sudden you see the lurk of MkaeL able to get that information, letting his teammates know, fall back right away. We can have the A site for free. And that's what you want to see in IMT now. They're in a very, very tough position. Both Genghsta and his teammate going to be posted up onto long B. They're going to get completely hunted. Gen.G, they're hungry for this. And GMD picks up one, able to pick up the second. That's going to be a triple. This is looking grim for IMT once again.
Gen.G just flexing at this point, not only taking the round, but looking for the picks, hunting out the last little bit of value that IMT was trying to scrounge out of that, forcing one player onto a broken buy now with just an SMG and heavy armor. That hunt was worth it.
I mean, players to talk about. I mean, GMD, he's completely on top of the server. I think he's on top of his team for sure. Koler able to actually be right behind him. I think he has 17 frags also. So a lot of good frags exchange on both sides. Waiting to see if anybody can pull up more. So it is 11-8 Gen.G. They have this lead. Asuna going to be falling back into Hookah, but taking a lot of damage. But they do have the Sage, so they can go for that easy heal. Washroom control going to be obtained from the defensive side. They have a lot of information to work with now. Whereas Gen.G, they actually put all their attention towards short A, so they have that site control. But this could be interesting because they might be able to retake this on a bit of a pinch.
I've loved the way that Gen.G has approached A executes here. Obviously, the more traditional approach, having that Sage, walling off that center area by a truck. Instead, they play for really, really aggressive multi-man U-Haul control, and they play off of that for their A plants, and it's worked incredibly well all map.
This post-spawn situation from Gen.G is just looking phenomenal. Dicey trying to make something happen, but Genghsta, 17 HP, he's stuck, he's got no options, and now Gen.G, they're on match point for map number 2. This is going to be it. If we don't see any reply from IMT now.
Yeah, IMT, their do or die moment. They definitely haven't been playing this map poorly, but I think the biggest issue they've encountered thus far is that Asuna's seen himself picked off a lot early on in these rounds, only 6 and 18, when you expect him to be the top of his team in terms of fragging in the way that he plays in their team dynamic. Asuna has to find something here to turn around IMT's fortunes.
Especially playing the agent that he's selected, you definitely want to see him going a little bit more aggressively and getting those bigger numbers as the raised player.
No more charges left.
I definitely agree with you there, Anders. But again, look at this aggression from Gen.G. They're going to push into lamps, and that's Effys to start things off, and it's just getting completely mopped up. And IMT, they just have no reply. The wind is out of the sails, leaving it down to a 2-on-5 situation. Only the Sage player and also the Sova. No ultimate to work with. Jcstani finds one, finds a second. So now it's getting a little bit more interesting. Both players are going to just be pushing their way through the smoke. Not the position you want to be in, but Curveball able to pick up one. And Effys, he pulls it through the quad kill. Absolutely madness. And that's going to be Gen.G taking map number 2, 13-8. And now that is 2-0, and they're going to move on.
Effys bringing us